Hello and welcome to a very special interview with Arun Dhumal, chairman of the IPL. It's nearing the end, yet another successful season, blockbuster season in many, many ways. And there's so many talking points, so many talking points. Firstly, this interview has been in the pipeline for a while. We were both trying to coordinate timings. Mr. Dhumal was traveling. So finally, thank you very much for joining me. First thoughts,
Thank you,
another
Boria.
successful
Pleasure's all
season.
mine. I hope you're doing
No,
good.
another successful season. Must be very happy. Final awaiting, but you must be very pleased with what you've seen so far.
Yeah, phenomenal season like the all other seasons so far. Nobody knew till the last game that who's going to get to the playoffs. So that way, that went off well. The teams played exceedingly well. The way Punjab Kings started, everybody thought that they'll be the first one to qualify, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. One game got lost in the rain. I think that was also crucial for both KKR and Punjab Kings. But the way RR has played so far, especially Vaibhav Sooryavanshi, has been phenomenal.
Now that you say Vaibhav Sooryavanshi, Arun Dhumal, how important is, because this guy has now become the new supernova of Indian cricket and the IPL. From the standpoint of the tournament and as IPL chairman, two questions. You've been part of Indian cricket for a long time. How important is somebody like Vaibhav as a breath of fresh air? And two, as IPL chairman, how much does it help the brand? Vaibhav Sooryavanshi.
I think Vaibhav has showcased the new brand of cricket in India, the fearless. Who would have imagined somebody like Vaibhav Sooryavanshi at the age of 15 would be able to conquer what was achieved by the king of IPL, right? Him surpassing the maximum sixes in a season at such a young age is a phenomenal achievement. And we've seen it in the Under 19 World Cup, the way he played for that knock and India getting to 400 plus runs and winning with that kind of considerable margin against somebody like Australia, who's also equally good at that level. But this is the new brand of fearless cricket that these boys have represented. Both Ayush also and this Vaibhav Sooryavanshi, they are exceptional young talent. And this is the hallmark of IPL, I would say. The tagline says, where talent meets opportunity. These guys got those opportunity, the platform, and they have done exceedingly well. We are super proud of them. And I think it augurs very well for the Indian cricket in the times to come.
देखो धूमल साहब, मैं एक आर्टिकल भी मैंने लिखा है. अगर आप देखोगे महेंद्र सिंह धोनी टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ हिज करियर, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, both around, but still towards the end of their careers, we wanted a fresh star, somebody who galvanizes the whole world. In that sense, Vaibhav Sooryavanshi has taken that spot. As IPL chairman, wearing that hat now, as brand IPL, someone like this helps the brand as well, isn't it?
For sure, we've seen wherever Dhoni would go to play, or Rohit would go to play, Virat would go to play, barring whatever team you support, there would be Dhoni, 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 RCB, 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 Rohit, Rohit, Rohit in the stadium. That would be echoing throughout the stadium. So these kind of stars definitely have a lot of traction with the fans. And that is what I said. This young talent coming it at such a young age has been a breath of fresh air, and it augurs very well for the tournament going forward. And he has time on his sides. He's just 15. He can contribute for many, many years. We've seen that with Sachin, the way he started. Who would have imagined Sachin would have that long a career? Virat, he's still as fit as he was when he debuted, probably more fitter than what he was. So, so it augurs very well, and I'm very happy. That is why the kind of Benson that we talk, thanks to IPL, because what would happen before IPL was they would play Ranji Trophy, Syed Mushtaq Ali, Vijay Hazare, but they won't get the international exposure. Suddenly, there was a lot of gap between what they would do in domestic cricket and when they would venture into the international cricket. I think what the best thing that IPL has done has it has uh, it has curbed that gap. So they're getting exposed to the best of bowling attacks. Still, the kind of cricket that they're playing, I think they're phenomenal.
Dhumal sir, you've talked about expanding the IPL. You've talked about two windows. You've talked about 94 games. I was reading a number of your interviews. what exactly do you have in mind as chairman, as the face? What is your vision? Do you want it expanded? When do you want it expanded? How do you want it? And will you, request the ICC for a bigger window? What's the plan?
Yeah, so Bori, as you would know that in the last media rights cycle also we had planned that in case we can go from 74 to 84 and 94 games, because that would happen the tournament in the sense you will have equal number of home and away games. At times,
Yes.
all the teams, they don't get to play against all the teams. So that would give each one of them equal opportunity to play equal number of home and away games. So that was the idea. But unfortunately, given the bilateral cycle that was already planned till 27, that didn't work out to be feasible in the current media rights cycle. But since we would be planning for BCCI rights also and IPL rights also, and the next set of bilateral rights also would be coming up for discussion. So we would try to carve out a bigger window, because more number of double headers may not work that well for the broadcasters. So we have to keep that interest in mind, because that is the most important, one of the most important stakeholder that we have in IPL. So in that sense, we'll be discussing with them, and we'll try and carve out a bigger window. And I'm quite hopeful that we'll be able to do something to get that.
So will we see two parts? Will we see September, October, or do you want one stretch?
See, in case we have to go beyond the 31st of May, it would be very difficult, because monsoon sets in, then most of the stadiums you can't conduct the games. So there are two ways to look at it. In case we get a start from mid-March only, then we have to end it in May. Then if we get some window around October, because that used to be one window available with BCCI, given the Asia Cup happening every alternate year, in case something works out there. Or keeping in mind the weather conditions, because it is getting very hot in May now. In case we can prepone and start it, say, by sometime in Feb, and concluded by April, that is another thing that can be worked out, because Australian season, a Big Bash would end by Jan. So in case we can get to start it by Feb, because the weather is also very pleasant throughout the country. So if we get from Feb to April, that also would be amazing. So we'll discuss with all the boards.
That's actually a very good idea. February to April, because May, for example, in Calcutta, my city, it becomes unbearable. I mean, the humidity becomes 90%. Even for players,
very
it becomes
hot and humid. And when you see these guys playing in the heat, at times you feel bad for them.
Correct. So this February to April idea is actually a very, very good one. Dhumal Saab, now to a bit of a critical one. I've got to say this. I mean, I thought the BCCI's 7-page Diktat was very welcome. So I would want your thoughts on why did you have to issue it? Because I thought social media wise, for example, things were going a bit overboard. Players cannot become content creators. That I thought was becoming a bit too much for me to digest. Your thoughts on what was going on social media and the 7-page BCCI rule, or rather the BCCI mandate that you've put out. What prompted it? What is your thought process?
See, I believe there was some information with regard to certain instances that took place. You would know those incidents which came into the light, and accordingly they were penalized also. To my understanding, this matter was discussed in the Apex meeting also before that, and there was some information available with the Honorary Secretary with regard to a few games, wherein he thought that we can reissue this advisory. So it was discussed and it was given. It is the same advisory which had been there all this while, but just to reinforce, it was issued so that everyone takes it seriously and make sure that, how they are required to behave, they accordingly behave. I'm of very clear view that, players don't have to create content. They have to give their performances. That content would get created automatically, because they have billions of fans across the globe. So they don't have to get into directional mode. They just have to act on the field of play, and it would work for them. So I think that was, in that sense, very well timed, and they would understand the need for it, because they need to focus on the game. As such, this is a very tight tournament wherein they have to play almost every day or travel, and it becomes very taxing for them. For them to put their focus on creating reels doesn't really make any sense.
Neutral venues, Dhumal Saab, including your own, Dharamshala, Raipur, this is actually spreading the game. Guwahati to different parts of the country, getting other centers in. Welcome development. Will this happen more in the coming years?
See, this idea had already been there in the initial years only. It was floated that, all these franchisee who can have one more venue alongside the home venue that they have, it would work very well to have wider reach across the length and breadth of this country. We've seen the kind of response that we got for the games at Guwahati. Raipur was phenomenal for RCB. So in that case, in case few more can venture out and find an alternate home venue for maybe a couple of games or three games, that would work very well, because seven games in one home also is
Correct.
quite stretched out. So it works for them also.
Uh, there was this report in the middle saying, IPL numbers dropped. I countered it saying, in India, for example, I don't know if you had read that piece, that this is India's only global sports brand. I thought, if suppose television numbers dropped a little, my understanding was people were moving to
To digital.
smartphone or digital consumption.
Yes.
That number was growing much, much bigger. That is one.
Yeah.
Number two, I thought it was quite stupid of us to suppose television numbers dropped a little. Why are we celebrating? The IPL needs to be backed as a competition because it's our own. This is where we rule the world. So, your thoughts on this whole numbers thing? That were you a little concerned with television numbers, or do you think people were moving from TV to digital?
See, Boria, whether we like it or not, India is a one sport country. We know for sure. There is nothing to beat cricket, and no other sport is closer to it. So there's no point celebrating it when we are wanting to get into that sporting culture, eyeing Commonwealth game and Olympics going forward. So for any youth to get to sport has to be our consistent and continued endeavor. Who's the most important stakeholder in this game? Is the broadcaster. So there are many stories that would flow, but he made it very clear that it was for the first time that we crossed 1.1 billion views. The connected TVs increased by 25%. The digital reach increased by 15%. There was 7% growth in the watch time. So in that sense, if our broadcaster is very happy with the numbers and the kind of engagement that traction this tournament is getting us, we don't have to worry on that count. So I am very very happy with the way this season have gone so far, and I'm sure with the two games remaining, that two very very important games, qualified two and final, it is going to get even better than the previous editions.
Last 5 minutes on our show.
Yeah.
I was reading an interview by Uday Shankar where he's talking about bilateral series, saying, why should the broadcaster pay top dollar? And it makes sense to me. India, Afghanistan,
Yes.
For that matter, any such test match, except maybe an India Australia or India England, or maybe South Africa. You have to understand that that's how the market is. So if I ask Arun Dhumal, experienced cricket administrator, chairman of IPL, wear that hat, look 5 years down the line, do you actually see IPL and franchise leagues becoming the major player, and bilateral test cricket also losing out in the long run because market dynamics dictate that?
See, I still feel there is a lot of love for test cricket also. I personally speaking, when I went for this India England Test series last year in England,
I remember talking to you at Lords.
that
We
was
had
so
so much fun.
engaging. That was every ball was an event when Jaddu and Siraj were playing, right? They were they had engaged the entire crowd, and everybody was so fixed to their seat because they wanted to see how it plays out. And the moment Siraj got out, uh, it had you would have seen that we watched it together. So I still see there is a lot of scope. It's just that we need to work out how best we can get it utilized. There is a lot of love for test cricket in certain markets within certain teams, so that can be worked out. Coming back to your question with regard to Mr. Uday Shankar's opinion, yeah, see, that is what I said. They're the most important stakeholder, being the broadcaster. They've got BCCI rights, they've got IPL rights. What we've seen over the years, every other country would want a series with India to monetize their cricket.
That is correct.
Money is very very important, so you and we have done our duty very diligently during the COVID times also. We went as per our commitment to make sure that because in case the cricket has to survive and grow across the globe, it has to make impact in more countries. We've seen over the years it has come down, but there is limit to how many series India can play with regard to ODI test across the globe. That is why you've seen the shift with Big Bash coming in, hundreds coming in, South Africa T20 League coming in. There are many associate countries who don't have ODI status, but they are still coming out with these, the leagues. So, in case cricket is going soccer way, so to say, that more number of club games or league games vis-a-vis bilateral, we might as well start preparing for it, because it is ultimately the fan or the broadcaster who puts in the money in the game. They are the most important stakeholders in that sense. Given the amount of bilateral cricket happening, ICC events happening, these leagues happening, it may lead to burnout for players, because in case they are participating in each and every tournament, they have to play their home league, they have to play ICC tournament, bilateral. So we need to plan it very smartly in the coming cycle, so that we can engage our players better, we can get more value for our fans. That is my concerted view. In that sense, whatever needs to be done in the next cycle, we'll definitely put our heads down, think through this, and get the best value for our players and fans.
Last two questions. One concern for me was these 220, 30, 40 scores, Dhumal Saab, because I thought cricket has always been a game of bat and ball, but I thought in some, at least to an extent, the bowlers were becoming bystanders. They were just there to be hit. It is as if you're putting somebody in the boxing ring to get punched. Do you reckon that we have to think about that protect our bowlers a little bit, give them a bit more agency? It is becoming a bit too batter orientated, or are you not worried?
Boria, you are one of the best commentators that we have in this field. You have seen how the batting has evolved over the years. The kinds of shots that you get to see, I think the same kind of application that has to happen in bowling. If still a bowler can bowl the line and length very consistently, the Yorkers, he can make use of short-term deliveries, bouncers, that is also allowed. So I think it's just a question of applications. Bowlers would also learn, and there we have seen some exceptional bowlings in this series as well, in this league as well. The few bowlers who have done exceptional job, be it Prince Yadav, Shakib Hussain. So I see a lot of value addition in that. Going forward, they would also think to themselves, what is the line that I have to bowl with to a particular batsman, wherever they are weak, and with so much of technology at play that can be done easily, you have to just spend some time, understand that batsman who are you bowling, and little more application can do very well for all these bowlers.
Final question, हम लोग फुटबॉल जब देखते हैं, इस फीफा वर्ल्ड कप में बार बार ही ये सवाल उठ रहा है that will it kind of the baton will pass from Leo Messi to Lamine Yamal. Whole world is talking about it, that okay, could be a final where Leo Messi to Lamine Yamal. I was thinking the IPL equivalent, and in my mind it was Virat Kohli to Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. Does Arun Dhumal also picture something like that? And do you support any team? आप क्या support करते हो कि नहीं? IPL
Not really. I don't. I just support good cricket. It's a treat to watch this young boy bowl exceedingly well. It doesn't matter whether Bumrah is bowling to him, Pat Cummins is bowling to him, any of the great bowler bowling to him. He just has his eyes fixated on the ball, and he'll make sure that it passes the boundary. I've been in the last game. You would have seen Yashasvi is an exceptional talent, amazing batsman in all the formats. He scored 29 out of 29 deliveries, and Vaibhav Sooryavanshi in 29 deliveries got 97. It says it all.
I'll end there, Arun Dhumal. Absolute pleasure talking to you. We've discussed a range of subjects. You close out the tournament well, because this is India's only global sports brand. I keep saying it. The brand is robust. It helps Indian sport, the larger macro story of soft power. It helps the country in that sense. And as the person with the steering wheel, as the chairman of the IPL, a lot of responsibility and a lot of credit. So well done to you. All the very best, and look forward to catching up more in the near future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.